Good morning. We begin in the nation's capital, where National Guard troops started arriving Tuesday as part of an 800-member deployment ordered by the administration. Their arrival marks the beginning of a federal takeover of Washington, D.C., which President Donald Trump initiated on Monday by declaring a crime emergency in the city. Under this declaration, the administration has assumed control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. The move is a significant assertion of federal authority over the district, which operates under a unique governance structure supervised by Congress. The White House has cited a surge in violent crime as the justification for this drastic measure. Speaking to reporters, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated that the president's emergency proclamation is only the beginning. She elaborated on the administration's plans, saying, "Over the course of the next month, the Trump administration will relentlessly pursue and arrest every violent criminal in the district who breaks the law, undermines public safety, and endangers law-abiding Americans." The deployment is intended to supplement local law enforcement and enforce federal authority directly in the city's public safety operations for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, on the diplomatic front, President Trump is engaging in a series of high-stakes meetings concerning the war in Ukraine. Today, the president is scheduled to hold a virtual meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. A number of European leaders are also expected to participate in the call, alongside Vice President J.D. Vance. This discussion serves as a critical prelude to President Trump's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, which is set for this Friday in Alaska. White House officials have confirmed that the meeting with Putin will be a one-on-one discussion, and President Zelensky will not be in attendance. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt characterized the upcoming Alaska summit as a listening exercise for President Trump. She explained the rationale, stating, "Look, only one party that's involved in this war is going to be present. And so this is for the president to go and to get, again, a more firm and better understanding of how we can hopefully bring this war to an end." The choice of Alaska as the venue is significant, providing a location on U.S. soil that is geographically situated between the two nations. The outcome of these back-to-back discussions is being watched closely around the world, as they could signal a major shift in the U.S. approach to resolving the long-running conflict. This flurry of domestic and international activity comes as the nation's finances reach a new, sobering milestone. The Treasury Department announced on Tuesday that the United States national debt has officially surpassed $37 trillion for the first time. The latest daily financial report shows the total outstanding public debt at just over $37 trillion, a figure composed of roughly $29.6 trillion in debt held by the public and about $7.4 trillion in intragovernmental holdings. This record high was reached significantly sooner than economists had previously predicted. For context, the Congressional Budget Office's projections from January 2020, before the global pandemic, had forecast that the gross national debt would not surpass the $37 trillion mark until after the 2030 fiscal year. The accelerated timeline is largely attributed to the massive federal spending and borrowing undertaken by both the Trump and Biden administrations to stabilize the economy during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. While this new figure is a record, it remains below the current debt limit of $41.1 trillion, which was established in July of this year. Looking ahead from the executive branch to the judiciary, the Supreme Court is preparing for a busy and consequential fall term. The nation's highest court announced on Tuesday the schedule for oral arguments in several major cases to be heard in October and November. Among the most closely watched is Louisiana versus Calais, which the justices will hear on October 15th. This case centers on the use of race in the state's redistricting process and could have profound effects on the balance of power in Congress. The court had already heard arguments in this case back in March, but in an unusual move, declined to issue a ruling in June without providing an explanation. Justice Clarence Thomas dissented from that decision, arguing the court had an obligation to resolve the matter promptly. Another significant case added to the docket is a challenge to a Colorado law that bans certain types of counseling for minors, specifically therapy that the state says aims to change a patient's sexual orientation. This case will test the boundaries between state regulation, free speech, and religious freedom. The court will also hear a case examining whether a federal military contractor can be sued after a U.S. soldier was injured in a terrorist attack. This political and legal landscape is also being shaped by powerful advocacy groups working to influence policy. Over the weekend, the organization Gun Owners of America, or GOA, held its second annual leadership summit in Knoxville, Tennessee. During the event, a GOA official confirmed to the Epoch Times that the organization has made it a primary goal to abolish the National Firearms Act of 1934. The NFA is a long-standing federal law that heavily regulates firearms like fully automatic weapons, short-barreled rifles, and suppressors. While a recent law signed by President Trump, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, significantly weakened parts of the 1934 Act, GOA leaders say their work is far from over. Eric Pratt, the senior vice president of GOA, stated that on balance, the Trump administration has been supportive of the Second Amendment. He noted that many of the gun control measures from the previous Biden administration have been reversed. Pratt affirmed that gun rights activists are now focused on expanding Second Amendment rights through a multi-pronged strategy that includes litigation in the courts, lobbying efforts in Congress, and a broad public education campaign to build support for their cause.